today. Welcome to our session on community building for nonprofits. We're honored to have Valentina with us. Hi, Valentina, again. How are you?
Hello, thank you. I'm great. Lovely to see you.
You too. So before Valentina begins, I just want to let everyone know that you can ask your questions in the Q&A part. And if we have time, we'll try to get back to those and answer them. Is there anything you'd like to add, Valentina, before we start?
No, I think that's enough that the people can ask questions. I have actually a section at the very end where I've allocated that to Q&As, so it's great that you mentioned it.
Okay, thank you. All right, then we're looking forward to hearing your insight.
Great, thank you. I need to share screen. 1 second.
Do you need any help?
No, I got it now. Thank you.
Yes, we can see your screen. You're
Great.
welcome.
Great, thank you. Right, so thank you so much, everyone, for being here. It's really a pleasure to have this opportunity to share my experience with you, and hopefully you'll find it very valuable and interesting. I will start with a short intro about myself. I like to call myself a rebellious millennial, and that's because I'm one of those people who didn't stay in an unhappy workplace and always strive for more. So I've learned everything I know today by doing. It was all the experience that I had the opportunity to have in lovely organizations in the last 5 years. I've always been an extrovert. I always knew that my heart is around people, and I was always getting energy from being around people and socializing. And I truly believe that this community building side of things has definitely hit the spot. Also about myself is, I think, quite important to mention that I lived in 5 countries, so half of my life I've actually traveled and learned languages and lived in countries like England and Germany and Greece, and right now I'm in Portugal, but I was born in Romania. When I'm not working, I like running, and this place where I live right now is a perfect place for that. It's in Portugal, very near Lisbon, and by the ocean, just 20 minutes away from the city. But I have the privilege, and I'm super grateful to be living here. I am a freelancer, and I'm working with nonprofits. So until recently, it was mainly in the UK, but lately I started collaborating with clients in the US as well, Canada, and yeah, I'm truly enjoying learning and growing. So I'm here to share that with you, and I know you're here to learn, but at the same time, I really feel like I have stuff to learn from all of you guys as well. So what I want to ask everyone before I dive into my presentation is, if you could set the intention to have one takeaway at least. Of course, you can have a lot more, but at the end, I'd really appreciate it if every single one of you would type one takeaway in the chat, so I can then see what stands out for everyone and what's important for people, and perhaps develop on those topics in the future. So that would be great if you could help me with that. And having said that, I'm just quickly going to show you a brief overview of what I'm going to talk about. We'll start with interactive activity in Mentimeter. It'll be fun. I can't wait. And once you tell me what community means to you, because that's the question I would ask, then I will obviously share my view and what community building means for me. From then on, I will move on to LinkedIn. I chose LinkedIn specifically because I just fell in love with it, and it's my favorite platform. It's where I'm normally spending my time on, and that's why I've dedicated this to LinkedIn. I'll be sharing a strategy example. I'll be sharing a workflow, a process of how you can build a community from scratch and where to start, what to look out for. And obviously, we have challenges, and I wanted to dedicate a slide to that. So I'll be looking at what I think 5 most important challenges in community building. And towards the end, I prepared a nice toolkit for everyone to take away. So yeah, I'll get to that later. Great. So at the moment, I'd like everyone to please go to menti.com and enter this code here. 61328976. So I think we should give people, Rosa, maybe a minute or two to do that. And once you enter that code, you'll have 3 options to answer the question, what does community mean to you? So you can add 1 word if you prefer, or 3, up to you, and then submit. And then at that point, once you've done that, we'll get the results, and I'll show you. So I'll give you 1 minute to do that, please, and then I'll pull up the Mentimeter page in the meantime.
Sure, let me also do that.
Great. I can repeat the code, 61328976. What does community mean to you? Have people responded?
I'm not sure. Can we see that? Like, to say this one's different.
All right, now I can see things are being submitted.
Someone is raising their hand, Valentina. So,
Sorry, can you
if you
repeat
don't
that?
mind, someone is raising their hand. Ryan is raising his hand.
Yes?
So, okay. So I'll allow him to talk. Okay.
Of course. Hi, Ryan.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Doing well. I was wondering if anyone could see us. I don't see anybody in the call except for Valentina and Rosa.
Oh,
Are we the only ones here?
Rosa, are you able to check that, please?
Well, because this is a separate section just for people from Clarusway, so this is why you only see it, okay?
Oh, okay.
Okay. Just so is it? Sorry, I didn't understand the answer to your question, Rose. Can you repeat that, please?
Which question, Valentina?
The problem Ryan is having, is it just one person on the call, or what was the issue?
Well, I think he couldn't see other people and the participants, and he wondered like why it's like that, right, Ryan? Like this is what I get from your question.
Oh, right.
Yeah, usually you can see the other participants, like on the meetup page, it says that there's someone, Ray, get his name here. Ray Sidney Smith is an attendee. See them on the call though. And I was just wondering if I was the only one here. Besides, I guess there's Valentina and Rosa, you must be her moderator.
Yeah.
Rose,
So
Okay.
so I allowed you to talk, and now that's why you're able to see the other section, as I said, at our people from Clarusway. So, for example, Bill is here. I don't
Okay.
see someone named Smith, but that's why you can now see. Okay.
Okay.
Anything else you'd like to ask?
No, it's just that I usually don't encounter that, so I wondered if I was the only one here. So, okay.
No, don't worry about that.
All right, all good.
right. Great. I will have to share these after the meeting, the results, because at the moment there's no way I can display them for some reason, and I'm truly sorry about that. Must be a setting somewhere that I'm now not aware of. But I can see there's 18 responses, and if you don't mind, Rose, once we're done, would you then please send this to people? The results, the words that they inserted.
Yes, of course. Of
Great.
course. We don't see your presentation right now, by the way, Valentina.
Yes, let me share that again. Right. So thanks everyone for filling in the form for me. So this is what I always believe in. Like my North Star is, I'm always wondering, whatever action I take, whatever I do, I'm always asking myself if the person on the other side is happy with that. Is that what the person needs? Am I sending the right message? So I'm always applying this human-centric lens to my actions and strategies and everything I'm doing. And I have to share that I'm really really pleased to see that many organizations these days have also introduced the diversity and inclusion topics in their workflows, and they dedicate a whole position to that, and people do recognize the value of this approach. So it can translate into what I've added here as freedom and privacy and data protection, so people feel safe, and obviously having a very inclusive attitude and making everyone feel safe and comfortable in the environment. I think this is a strategy that will always make people come to you and not vice versa, and it's a really good place to be in. Then to move on, I would apply the same rule to my organic LinkedIn strategy again, and I also I'm also aware how people everyone's tired of the digital noise, and we all crave authentic relationships and meaningful interactions, and we want to get value from every action we take and the time we put into everything we do. And you can achieve these things and make people feel that way by applying certain rules, let's say, and for instance have a workflow in place where every time someone new joins your community, there's a nice workflow that you follow to make them feel welcome, give them the space to introduce themselves, to connect and to talk to other people and to ask questions and to just find out why they've joined you. You can also make people feel comfortable by telling the stories and the storytelling. We always remember stories. It's just how we work. So for instance, if you are working in a non-profit that promotes healthy eating, make up a story about how, talk about how someone benefited from that and how you made a difference, and keep building on that and keep building other stories and around it as well. Also be responsive. So for instance, on LinkedIn, you can see lots of posts and comments flying around, which can be very daunting, but it's very important that we always take the time to respond to people and to engage with them and make them feel like they've been seen and heard. That will foster this positive atmosphere around the community, which everyone loves, that energy. Another way is to organize events. Another way to attract people and to get them to join you and to hear about what you do is by hosting an event like this one, sharing the experience and the knowledge and giving to people for what you have, and collect feedback at the end. Like any kind of feedback is always welcome. It's the most important thing that we can always get from our community fellows, and understand what they're missing and how they feel and what they need, and work on that and improve based on the feedback that we always receive. When it comes to LinkedIn pages, like business pages, there's a LinkedIn report which says that organizations who have a LinkedIn company page receive 30% more views on a weekly basis. And it's the only prerequisite for that is that you have to be there. You have to be constantly posting from the page and respond as the page and interact. So if it's not being used, even the LinkedIn credits that any business page gets, they go down to 100 instead of 250. So being active and consistent is very, very important in anything you do in that sense. And I will go on to talk about one of the strategies, the most common ones that I use and that I also recommend is the three layer steps here that you can see. It's about educate, and then having at least three pillars that you resonate with and that your brand resonates with, and that you always create content around that. And then being authentic, of course, it's always going to be a winner, because it's great to look around and see what other people do, but it's only going to be you're only going to be the best when you're yourself, and just be true to who you are and express that through your messaging and through your content, whichever platform you happen to use. To move on, I think everyone was or might be in a position where they have an idea or a client, depending on what you do, where they need to start something from scratch, start from zero, start a community from nothing, and it can be very daunting. I've been in that situation myself, and I've used a lot of I've spent a lot of time doing research and talking to people and trying and testing, and this is what I then came up with. There's a 4-step process that I like to introduce to you. So it starts with, you start with analyzing where the company is at the moment, identify the strengths and the weaknesses, and then you move on to the missions and values. Do we know where we're going? Do we have set goals and objectives set in place? How are we going to meet them? Are we going to have to buy several other tools that we're currently using? Just analyze the whole situation and move on from there. And then once you have those in place, I think you're ready to then move to the 3rd step, which is entitled, how are we going to get there? So what vehicle are we going to use to achieve those results that we've set in step number 2? Are we going to do that via content or via our network, or online, face-to-face events? Depending on the type of the organization, of course, it can mean something totally different. Finally, very important, and it's a step that sometimes we tend to neglect because there's so much going on, and we often forget to track our progress at at least every month. There should be a structure in place where you look at the metrics that you have, depending on what you use. Every tool has that, and keep a good overview of that, so that at the end of the quarter or year, or depending what your time frame is, you can go back and look at it, and also justify the resources that you've been using and the results that you've achieved. So definitely don't neglect the tracking at the end. So to move on from here, I think I'd like to talk about challenges. Challenges we're always going to face, no matter what, no matter how savvy we are or how prepared. There's always going to be, unexpected events happening, and especially in a world like the world that we live in today, where technology evolves so fast, and we just have to keep on top of them, especially as a marketer. I feel like us more than anyone else, we have to stay on top of that. So as a community manager, I strongly advise you to look at the 5 challenges that I mentioned here, and decide, is that what you're having, what you're facing, or is there anything else? Do you know how to solve them, problem solve? What do you need? Are you provided with the right resources? And talk to people around you, and just try and find out what others are doing and how they manage these things. One of the most important things is to maintain trust. The reputation that we all build to online communities is key. It's going to take time. It's like parents who've raised us. You don't see the result until we're adults, so it takes like a lifetime basically to see those results. So maintaining and keeping that trust there is going to be a challenge, I think, always, and something that I think we should all be aware of. And yeah, like I said, changes as well. Like, change is the only constant, isn't it? So it's tricky to stay on float with that as well. I'll be looking forward at the end of the presentation to see if you've encountered other challenges that are not here, and to discuss those with you. Now, I don't think it'll be a surprise to anyone if I tell you that since COVID, the online communities skyrocketed. Everyone found this sweet spot where they can connect with people and belong to some big cause. And I wanted to show you a bit of like statistics to display it here. As you can see, I've taken these from a website called Amity. So since COVID happened, there's a 81% increase in online communities, which is huge, and I think that will come with a very big need for us to keep learning and improving and growing these communities and looking after them as we should. It is within our responsibilities to do that. Then we have the 76% of the internet users are part of some sort of community. We sometimes, connect and interact without knowing that we're actually doing that and belonging to that specific community, and that is probably, I think, higher. This was a 2022 study where I took these details from, but I imagine the numbers are a lot higher right now. And there's the last one that I've mentioned as well. Like, if you have, for instance, a LinkedIn company page that you keep active, you will be found easier and you will stand out faster. And this is what this last statistic says: like, any online community can help organizations improve engagement by 21%. Sorry. So it's definitely worth the time and investment that's needed to put into that. Building a community, whether it's on LinkedIn or somewhere else, it helps on the long term. And with that said, I've now reached the last slide of the presentation, which is dedicated to the support and resources that I've prepared for you. First one is a non-profit quarterly report, which contains very useful information about the non-profit area, about management strategies and the community engagement. TechSoup, probably, I'm sure most of you will know about that. It's very big, and it has a lot of contracts with SaaS providers who give people, all sorts of organizations, a lot of discounts or even free plans for their tools. And the third one, which is my favorite, and I hope you will look into this. It's this group on LinkedIn called Girls in Marketing. Just yesterday I saw that I'm part of their community, and just yesterday I saw that they are offering a free growth marketing course. Takes 3 weeks, twice a week, starting on 8th of July, and they even issue a certificate. They're really good. I've been following it for a long time, and I've learned a lot from them, and I've actually signed up, and there's always something to learn. So I hope you guys check it out and that you find the time to join. And the fourth one is the Idealist platform, which is a platform dedicated to non-profit volunteers and resources, but it's not free, unfortunately. So if you're a client or if you have a non-profit and you're looking for a volunteer, this is the place where you can find anyone suitable or post about it at the same time as well. And finally, I have prepared a list of those discount codes that I mentioned that TechSoup offers, of tools that I've been using with my clients. One of the most common ones would be the Canva. Everyone probably heard about it or is using it. They give a free pro plan to nonprofits. So it's really worth investigating, and it takes a bit of time to get your client on board and prepare all the bureaucracy, the papers and those certificates, so that they approve it. But then once you've been approved, you have this nice beautiful place where you can help your client and save money, because that's what they are for. Therefore, Grammarly is also free. They have a MailChimp discount of 15%. HotSuite has 45% discount. So if you go to, I can send you this link on the chat, but you can also find it on my LinkedIn, in my LinkedIn bio at the very bottom, and then you can download it from there. It's all in a PDF, nicely structured for you. And I think with that said, I am now going to open the panel for discussion, for questions. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to talk more about anything that I've covered in here, or any other questions you may have. Please don't hesitate. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Valentina. We don't have any more questions right now, but let's give them a minute. You can also raise your hand and we can allow you to talk, and you can use your microphone for that. Or you can just use the Q&A part. Okay, so let's wait for a minute, if that's okay with you, Valentina.
Yeah, absolutely, sure. I'll look at
Okay, so Ryan is raising his hand. So let me just allow you to talk. Yeah, okay, now we can talk.
Hi, okay. There was a QR code that was on the last slide, and I was getting ready to scan it, and then it disappeared on me.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. I should have gotten hold of that better. I was thinking about it. There. Oh, that's the LinkedIn. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I guess the other question is, wouldn't always be for nonprofits. I'm part of an organization, EcoForest Global, and we sell trees and plant those on private farms all around the world. We're trying actually to establish a planting site in southern Portugal. A friend of mine is part of an organization that they're also a for-profit, but they do travel plans for people. And I'm attending this today. This was very fortuitous to come up because there is another total solar eclipse coming up in August of 2027. So a little over 2 years from now. I guess no, a little over more than 3 years from now. And the path of totality goes right through the Straits of Gibraltar. Were either of you ladies aware of that?
No, I wasn't.
No, the totality is where the sun is completely obscured by the moon. I've made travels across the United States to visit and see in northern Tennessee back in September 2017, and then in April, about 2 months in, yeah, almost exactly 2 months ago, to see the path of totality. Anyway, she does cruise ship reservations, and so we're trying to drive engagement within certain organizations, if it's spirituality, if it's astronomy, to get people to want to come and participate. And of course, this is someone that can this is someone they can spend a good deal of money to go see an event from the deck of a cruise ship that you know they're not going to get another chance to see it probably in their lifetime. And this one is just really, this is really unique. So are there any any ways that you know, especially that we could use to drive that engagement within groups? And it could be for-profit groups or nonprofit groups.
First thing that comes to mind is I think you could maybe try and find similar groups of similar people with similar interests, and try and get grow it that way. But to drive the engagement in the existing group that you have, you could create polls. Is it on LinkedIn, the groups?
No, this is for an event that will be in, I guess, just over 3 years, August 12th, 2027.
Right, so just for an event.
Now, I'll put the link in the chat if the chat's enabled.
Yeah. So to drive engagement, I would
Get people to come, basically.
Sorry?
When I say drive engagement, I want people to come to this event.
Yeah. So you have to highlight points like once in a lifetime, and give them the that feeling of missing out through your messaging, and be consistent and do it regularly, so that people they're not always there online to see our messages. So to us, it sometimes may feel like we keep going on and on and on about the same things, but in fact, we need to keep recycling the messages that we use, and reframe them, repost them in similar ways, but keep showing up.
Okay. And overall, what our purpose is to help people to focus their attention away from world affairs, which are, there's a war here, there's a war there, there's some other type of bad thing going on. Well, this is something that's truly miraculous. It's something that man has absolutely no hand in whatsoever. This is the sun casting the shadow of the moon in such a way as that it transits exactly down the center of the Straits of Gibraltar. And so when I saw, oh, you're from Portugal. Wow, okay, well that's perfect. Get some travel agents in Portugal and in Morocco and in Spain. I can't yet says the chat is disabled.
Oh, I'm afraid I can't help with that. That's all in Rose's hands. But I'm happy if you contact me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to.
Oh, okay. I could just chat it to you on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Is there anybody else that? Okay, I don't know if anyone else would want to see it or not here. But yeah, that's the idea. Is like there's such a wonderful world we live in. There's truly miraculous things happening all the time, and we're so engaged with our busy lives, social media, and then whatever the mainstream media tells us. Oh, there's more bombings here. There's more terrorist attacks here. There's a plane went down, a volcano went off, whatever the crazy stuff. And I think there's definitely a positive correlation between incidences of mental illness and stress and anxiety disorders, because we don't take time. Oh, wow, there's this, that's going to happen. That is fantastic. That kind of just the sense of awe that we all had as children, or I hope we all had as children. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing that, Ryan, with us. Thank you. Are there any other questions?
Thank you so much, Ryan. Yes, we have one more question from Logan. Thank you for that, Logan. So we'll just review that. Thanks for the program. I find LinkedIn top platform to start personal branding or business. How do you rate LinkedIn versus other global or local similar platforms?
So LinkedIn has over 1 billion users, and it's known as the most professional platform right there, they're out there at the moment. And personally, I believe at the moment, at least in the area I'm working in, that is where my network is, and that's where I feel like I have to be. However, I've heard so much about TikTok lately, how they promote your content for days after you post it, and how the algorithms there are so much more friendlier than LinkedIn's, for instance. I think it depends. So in my case, I'm definitely voting for LinkedIn, but depending on the audience you're looking for, obviously LinkedIn could be the wrong place. I hope that answer your questions, Logan.
Thank you, Valentina. Well, that's all the questions that we have. Thank you so
Great.
much again. We really appreciate you sharing your expertise with us today. And,
Pleasure.
thank you. Thank you all for joining us. Have a wonderful day.